Hi, I'm Louise Rashford from LA Trading Academy Creating Salon Success. I'm here today with Katy and I'm really excited to talk to Katy. So thank you for joining us today, Katy.
My pleasure.
Would you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do, please?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Katy Angelidi. I married a Greek man, so I will forever have to spell my surname. I'm a makeup artist. I'm a working mom of two little girls. I call myself a makeup dinosaur because I have been in the industry for it's almost 25 years.
Oh.
So I run a bridal makeup business, and it's getting to the point now where actually some of my brides are coming in that are about 25 years old, and it's like whoa. But makeup is and always has been my passion. So my bridal makeup business is my main business now, and that's been the case for about 12 years. And then 3 years ago I set up kind of like a sister, it was like a kind of a heart project. I set up Beauty Unfiltered as kind of like another branch that was always just going to be something that I did, that was my passion. Started out with just a big Facebook group, and it's all about educating real women. I never wanted to go into training other makeup artists really. I wanted to help bring empower real women, mums from school, you know, women who maybe who've just got divorced or whose kids have left home, who want to discover themselves, educate real women on real makeup techniques. So I'm the kind of the anti-Instagram makeup artist. Very talented, very talented. I always say that, but those kind of looks aren't always achievable for most people. So I'm here really helping people learn about themselves, learning about their skin type, their skin tone. And then what started out as a passion has become my side business, and really what kept me afloat through lockdown. So everything happens for a reason, right?
Absolutely. And definitely a lady after my own heart. I'm not into all those looks. Don't get me wrong, like you say, it's phenomenal what they can do. But I think I've had this conversation with someone before that it might be me yourself actually, and we were talking, some of this contouring just looks amazing actually on men. Like they pull it off so well, and sometimes when women do it, I don't always think it, you know, like they're just following suit sometimes, aren't they? It's amazing what they can do, but when you look completely different, it's quite frightening, you know.
It's just, unfortunately, that whole style of makeup comes from drag, and really no one wears it as well as the drag queens, because it is designed to turn a masculine face into a feminine face, and it doesn't always work the other way around. But some people, that they're so clueless about makeup, which is fine, because there are certain things in life that I'm completely clueless about, but they think, well, there's no point me even getting started because I can't do all of that contour stuff. And actually there's 1,000 steps you can do before you even need to get to contouring. And that's what I love, when people go, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, it never gets old.
I do love that. I love it when people have a realization moment as well, when they actually realize how good they look, you know, just enhancing their natural features rather than trying to cover everything up. Absolutely. So so I know we're both passionate about skin, so we're all about, you know, letting your skin show through instead of you know, covering everything up. It's like, no, be you. But hey, it's the world that we live in today, isn't it?
Sadly.
Yeah, but so just to start off with then, that's an amazing introduction, and I'm so excited just to chat to you and find out all your manoeuvrings through lockdown and COVID and stuff like that, because I know obviously you are in the same industry as us, and it has been very difficult for so many. So let's just find out a little bit about you first, if that's okay. So what book are you reading right now? So whether it can be educational, fiction, fact, whatever.
So I'm naturally a massive bookworm, and take my kids away and let me have some time, and I can get through. I did 10 books on my 10-day honeymoon, and I still found time to honeymoon. But I am so time stretched at the moment. Generally running two businesses with two children, my husband is always on night shift, so I'm almost solo parenting.
Oh.
I haven't treated myself to a good fiction book in a long time. I am trying to read Profit First, which is
I love that book. Yeah.
Do you? Yawn. I'm so bored. It's just so boring. I really learned it's just too sensible.
Well, I was going to say, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you do not need that book. And to be honest, I listened to it. So I am terrible for listening and doing something else at the same time. So I kind of feel myself prick up when I'm like, oh, yeah, oh.
That's how I know that I'm not into it. I read the book and my phone's pinging and I'm like, oh, I'll have a snack. I did read Normal People, the book version
Ooh.
of the film, and I actually really do love Jojo Moyes. Again, it's the book versions of the film, but I mean, I don't read enough. I will get a book because I think it's the perfect way to wind down in the evening. I'm going to pull one off my bookshelves and give it another crack.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do love like a lot of the self-development books. I am, I do love them, and some I think resonate more. And Profit First, I think, is just one of those where a lot of the time we don't focus on the profit. So I think for some people, it's definitely worth a listen, if not a read, just because it does kind of make you think differently about your pricing, especially in our industry. I'm always telling a lot of my ladies and stuff, we're always talking about pricing structures and stuff like that. So it's definitely a good book, but it might not be a pleasure book. So
it's definitely not.
I love that. But yeah, fair enough. That's great. So who inspires you, whether it's famous, family, friends, yourself?
Ooh, I love powerful women, and Caroline Hirons?
Yes.
Yes, so Caroline Hirons is probably the one who inspires me the most because she's got the most phenomenal work ethic. I'm very, very, very privileged that I worked with Caroline for a long time. Before she became the Caroline Hirons that we know now, I just worked with her. We crossed paths. We both worked for different brands. And just before she launched her blog, I had lunch with her, and she said, spoke to Jim, and he said that I should probably, maybe start a blog. He thinks it might be a good idea. And I went, yeah, I mean, I don't know, give it a crack. I'm sure you'll do okay. Or I said something really uninspiring, and she's obviously gone on. That's where everything started, her blog.
Wow,
I love how she champions women in the industry. I love how she stands up to people who just put really unhealthy advice out there. I love how ferociously she loves her children. I just think she's fantastic, and she is exactly the same in person as she is on screen. So she's my inspiration, actually.
I love it, and I love it even more the fact that it's someone in the industry as well, so somebody I can relate to as well. So it's and she is amazing. And if any of the listeners haven't heard of her, which I would find hard to believe, you need to just find her on YouTube and her channels and her Facebook. She's literally everywhere in a good way.
Not on YouTube anymore.
Right.
No, she did. She was getting trolled, with all of these lunatics.
Oh my goodness.
And so she said, do you know what? Don't need YouTube.
Wow.
She took herself off it, which I think is very, very brave, but so
absolutely.
She's literally everywhere else, but she was just like, I don't have time for you children, because it was followers of this really young Instagrammer, so she just went, bye.
Wow. Well, I did not know that, because I just watch her on. I must just watch her on the Facebook then, because I see her all the time, and obviously you just have to Google her, and she's got videos and stuff everywhere. But well, good for her. To be honest, that's quite inspiring in itself, isn't it? Yeah. And do you know what? I'm just going to sort of digress a little bit. I often say this about like social media channels. When we think we should be on LinkedIn and we should be on Facebook and we should be on Instagram and Twitter and whatever, Snapchat, TikTok. They all, you just think, I just did a live in my group the other day just to show that actually how much, people say Facebook is dead, but you have to go with what works for your industry and your salon. So for me, you only have to look at the insights, like the statistics, analytics, to see how much engagement we get on our Facebook page. So you have to sometimes stop following the crowd, and if it's not working for whatever reason, hopefully not trolling, but then you just have to kind of, so good for her that she just kind of went, no, I'm okay. So
yeah,
good for her. That's what I say. Okay then, so seeing as we're both passionate about skincare, what is the one skincare or makeup product that you couldn't live without?
Oh, when I read this question, I was like, I am a big fan of a simple but consistent skincare routine. And literally my skincare routine is cleanse, double cleanse, hydrate, moisturizer, SPF.
Mine too.
Yeah, and I've gone back to, I did use a retinol in the evening. I'm not doing that anymore. I didn't see enough of a difference. I love exfoliating. I love an acid toner, but I love hydration. So I tell you what, I've got, I can't think of one. I love your Plump Me Up. I love your Plump Me Up. I've got it on today. And I love that I can use it around my eyes. And I do love your Squeaky Clean Cleanser.
Oh, me too.
Okay, but to be sensible, my skincare product at the moment is SPF, because
very sensible.
Because I didn't avoid it, but my skin breaks out really, really easily, and I found one that doesn't break me out, and I'm learning to love it. And I'm making it a part of my habit to put it on. I'm in my early 40s. I have to be sensible. I put it on every single day.
Great habit. Do you want to share which one it is? Because I'm sure you are not on your own.
It is the La Roche-Posay and Thelios Dry Fluid SPF 50+.
Fab. I'm glad you said that, not me. You said that very well. I was like, what?
It's really good, and it's always, and I get it from Look Fantastic, and I have it's always on special, and if it's on super special, I always stock up. It's really sheer, and I put it on it, and then I put my makeup on almost immediately on top of it.
Awesome.
And it works.
Love it. Perfect. Gosh, very good advice as well. But yeah, perfect.
Sensible answer.
Well, it's a good one though, and we all need it, you know. So there's been a lot of pictures on Facebook, hasn't there, over this last weekend of people's sunburn and things. It's like,
not me.
No, me neither. Okay, so obviously we've come out of, well, we're still in it kind of, but we're not in lockdown right now. So we've been in the, well, we all know what we've been in, the pandemic and everything. So obviously your business had to kind of stop. So, well, we all did, didn't we? I'm just about to jump a question. That's why I've just realised. Stop jumping, Louisa. So in lockdown, did you become obsessed with anything, like whether it was business, personal? Did it change you in any way? Like, you know, a lot of people became obsessed with exercising or food or certain things, or did you start a habit that you sort of never been able to or never bothered about, and then it's kind of stuck? Or
I found lockdown really, really challenging. We locked down with my mum because my husband is on constant nights. I've got 2 children. They are of the two ages where they just don't do anything together. So we went and locked down with my mum and sister, and we isolated from my husband, who was working a job where he wasn't allowed to wear PPE at first. Madness now when you look back on it.
Wow, yeah.
What did I get obsessed with? I mean, I ate and I didn't exercise. It undid a lot of hard work for me. I didn't become obsessed, but it made me, I had a massive realization how much my self-esteem is intrinsically tied to having a successful business. I had to learn to be a stay-at-home mum, and I adore my children. I do this to provide for my children and to inspire my children, but I don't want to be at home all the time. So I had to diversify, and maybe that became my obsession, just kind of finding ways to stay. I just obsessively stayed afloat because my mental health was on the edge. I compartmentalized everything and just focused on literally just every single day going for that walk, cooking home cooked food, getting my kids' schoolwork done. We didn't do a very good job of that. And just trying to keep my business afloat, really. I wish I could say I became obsessed with exercise, because then I wouldn't be having to Google chub rod pants, which is what I've been Googling at the moment, because I'm in my worst shape that I've ever been.
Oh, yeah.
But I survived, because at one point I didn't think I was going to. I found it appalling.
I don't think you're on your own there either at all. I think the amount of people that will relate to what you've just said is unbelievable. And I don't think anybody realises how difficult it has been for so many people in that kind of situation. Whereas when you're either on furlough or you're having to work from home, yeah, it's a bit of a ball ache, but it's nothing like having your whole business close overnight. And for you with kids as well, and they're at home and no husband either, like being away from him, that must have been awful. And then, so I think good on you. I think you've done amazing, and you still look so stunning. So you don't look in the worst shape. You look amazing. Well, I'm good skincare because I know you don't even wear that much makeup. You just look lovely.
Not really.
But so wow. So actually, I can probably relate to that myself, and I've never really thought about it like that. I really did probably focus as well on business, because you've got to find something to do, and when you're used to being so busy, to go from so busy to nothing overnight, you're like, well, what do I do with myself? So yeah. You know what, that's amazing that you've managed to. So tell us a little bit then about your website that you did through, well, I know you did it before lockdown, but obviously it's become bigger, and it just shows how we do have to transition our businesses and be ready for, you know, any, well, I don't want to say disaster, but, you know, anything can happen in life, can't it, that can, you know, knock your duck off, so to speak. And
with that now, haven't we? It's been proven to us.
Absolutely.
You know, I remember someone once saying to me, 3 things that will always happen in life, something like taxes, weddings and death. And I always thought, weddings will always happen. I will always have a job in wedding makeup. And I love what I do. I love weddings, which is good because I have 64 this year.
Wow.
But when it stopped, yeah, it just felt like my identity had gone. So one of the things that I did do, because I had to keep my bridal makeup business, because they run almost as 2 separate businesses, I had to keep my bridal makeup business going, because I had to be still in business this year, because 48 weddings last year, I did 6, so that was 42 weddings that either moved to this year or to 2022 or cancelled altogether. So one of the things that I did do was I created a virtual makeup artist service.
Okay.
Where I would have consultations with people who were having teeny tiny weddings, because at one point it was like you can have 5 people or something ridiculous, and I would sit and have a video consultation with them, go through, and then we would set up a WhatsApp thread, and we would shoot inspiration pictures to each other, and I'd be like asking them questions about the, you know, the looks that they want, asking questions about their skin, and then I would create a shopping list for them of all the products that they would need. And I did it on a PDF with links, tried to find them discounts, used affiliate codes, and then I recorded a lesson for them tailored to them, obviously on my own face. But if, for example, this one lady had really downturned eyes, and I showed her how to lift her eyes, and by the end of it my eyes looked really tilted up because I was showing her all the techniques. And I think I sold about 12 of them, and they were £225 each or something, and that was a massive help.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It helped a lot of clients who I couldn't service, but it was cash flow, and the affiliate links really helped, and that kind of sparked me to look deeper into my affiliate, you know, partners, because I think that's a big part of my business now. And then the Beauty Unfiltered, yeah, I really polished up the website and focused on getting as many members in as possible. But I had to be really realistic, because actually I didn't have massive amounts of time, because the kids were literally always there. So I had to be really clever, and I had to like batch record content. So I'd sort of like say to my sister, right, can you take the kids out for a really long walk, and I'm going to see how many videos I can record in 2 hours, literally like makeup on, makeup off, makeup on, makeup off. And just obsessively created content, and obsessively, like, I always had my phone in my hand. And some people are like, oh, it's terrible parenting, but you know, sometimes man needs must.
You've got to do what you've got to do, haven't you?
You really do. And I think these people that say, oh, I never have my phone in my hand when I'm around my children, well, you're very privileged that you don't
Absolutely.
have to juggle. You know, I remember when I grew up, my mum's version of you know, was go and watch the telly. Go and sit in front of the telly and watch She-Ra. Go and sit in front of the telly and watch
She-Ra, love it.
You know? So it's not multitasking and doing other things when you have children is not new. It's just now people can see us do it, and people can get all judgmental about it. But I just did what I had to do.
Absolutely, and sounds like you've done really well, because your membership site and website, well, it looks amazing anyway, but the stuff that you offer on there is brilliant, isn't it? So just I just have to go back to that video that you were just talking about then, about doing video makeup tutorials for people. I just think, wow, I feel like you've like kind of like saved people, because that must have been so good for them, because imagine being told you can't have your makeup artist and you're at your wedding and you're still going ahead and you want it to be still your most special day. And
Yeah.
I can imagine the relief that you gave some of those women, you know, just to be there on hand. And I know it's a big thing for you as well. And like you say, you had to have your phone in your hand a lot and you were researching, but everything happens for a reason, like you say. So it's like it did point you then more to doing your website and your affiliates. So I'm just sort of going back on that, just to sort of say to some of my listeners that, you know, we're all talking about all the time about multiple streams of income and what if this ever happened again. So it just shows, like, you know, affiliates is something that we could look into, like on a deeper level. Like you said, it's helped you keep going financially. So that is amazing. So tell us a little bit about your website then, about what it is that you offer on there, because I have been on and it does look amazing, and I know obviously I've had chats with you in your membership group and stuff. So tell us a little bit about what's on offer for people.
So Beauty Unfiltered is about learning about you, really. So one of the things that I feel like people struggle with is they see these looks on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, and they try and copy it and they get unstuck because they're trying to mimic somebody else doing a makeup that works for their face onto theirs, and it doesn't work, because obviously our faces are like fingerprints. They are so completely unique. So Beauty Unfiltered is helping people understand their own faces so that people don't have to rely on Instagram, on YouTube, on makeup counters, because, and I say this with all the love in my heart, because I worked on a makeup counter for many years. I trained all of the artists on a big brand. Some of them are amazing. A lot of them are sales assistants. They have incredible selling skills, but they aren't makeup artists. So it's basically giving women back the power so that they can go into a counter and say, hi, my skin is dehydrated with an oily T-zone. It's a cool tone. I want a medium coverage foundation with pink undertones and then a cool tone bronze, so that instead of being at the whim of other people, you understand yourself. So we have different categories: face and base, colour, reviews. I've completely forgotten what the rest of them are, but we have core modules. So the first one I suggest people start with is how to understand your skin type. And I've learned that the majority of people who sit in my chair, it's the first thing I have to figure out with a client in my chair is what her skin is telling me. And I'll say to people, like, I don't ask people what their skin type is anymore, because the chances are it's not right. You know, women tend to go to a makeup counter, and I'll say this to mums of the brides all the time, like, tell me about your skin, and they go, well, I'm oily, because they went to a Clinique counter in 1989 and they were told they were oily, and they've lived in that skincare, they've lived in that skin type all this time. Literally, their kids have grown and left home, they've remarried, they've moved house, but they are still using the same skincare, and their skin is no longer doing the same things, but they are ploughing on and they're treating their skin as if it was something different. So I teach people how to understand their skin type, their skin tone, so you can color match yourself with foundation, face shape, eye shape. And there's this is all in kind of like the content library on my website. There's lots of demos, there's loads of clickable PDFs and downloads and things like that. I have guest speakers came in, you came in, and it was brilliant. People come in teaching us how to do bouncy blow dries, talking about menopause, all sorts really. And then we have a really lovely little private Facebook group, which is where I kind of try and give most of my time. And it's lovely. We kind of capped out at the moment at about 43 members.
Brilliant.
Our turnover rate has increased because I can't give as much time to it now with the summer holidays coming up and all these weddings, but it seems every time someone leaves, somebody new joins. So maybe this is kind of where I'm going to sit, around the 40 to 50 mark for now.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. It gives me the equivalent of a little part-time salary, and it's a weight off my shoulders if anything ever happened, that I've got that there.
Definitely. Sounds great. And I think it's really, really inspiring that you know, took your passion, and you know, your passion is obviously, I know it is makeup, but it's obviously it's helping women as well, and men maybe, you know, like we've got trans drag, and I know you'll just work with anybody, but you know, it's helping people actually discover what's, like you say, what's unique about them, and then that they've got this little community. And I know, like from my membership group, how lovely having that little community is, and how, you know, when you see members interacting with each other, and it's really, really nice. And well, what's more for you is obviously it's like an extra stream of income, like you say, and that freedom in your brain that, you know, if heaven forbid we went into lockdown again or anything, you know, this is not over at the end of the day, but at least you've put all these things in place now. And you know, it's really inspiring, because I hope it makes some of our listeners think that, you know, they could do something too, because I know people are always trying to find another avenue, and I always think it's really good to relate it to what you're already doing. So, you know, the amount of people, I don't know, they might have a salon and then start selling bags. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think if you can actually make it relevant to your industry, it's a lot better, because you're more passionate about it, and you're not just doing it for the money. It is about, you know, like you say, wanting to help people and educate them, really. So
you've already got that audience that are open and who are going to absorb what you're saying. If you're, yeah. I couldn't imagine if you were running a, you know, a successful salon, and then something happened again and you started selling cross stitch. People might not, they're not going to relate, and I feel like sometimes it takes away from your passion.
Absolutely.
So definitely stick to your passion. But I worked so hard in the run up to this. Before I launched my membership, I had a Facebook group, a free group. It's a free community, and there's 1,800 people or something on there, and I ploughed my efforts into that first to really grow my audience and kind of market research what worked and what didn't work. And that is still a really excellent funnel for me, but it's shown me I have to be massively active in there almost all the time. So that's that juggle, isn't it? Like, I have 2 Instagram accounts, have my free Facebook group, I have the pages. Automating as much as I can has saved my bacon, because there's not enough time in the day
to there is not.
On every single social media front.
It is difficult. It is difficult, isn't it? And I totally get what you're saying. It's hard, and so you sort of linked into my next sort of question, really, so that's great. I was just going to say, would you advise people then to create a group, obviously being aware of the time and effort that you can't just create a group, can you, and then, you know, hope that it all works out? You've got to put that effort in and really research, like you say, your target audience. And like your example of doing, you know, a cross stitch, that's brilliant, because you've already got your target audience, and maybe your target audience for makeup or skincare or massage or your salon, whatever it is possibly not cross stitch. So I think you're right to definitely stay focused on your industry and find your passion about maybe your treatments and things like that, and create a group based around that. Would you sort of, is that what you'd advise to?
Absolutely, create a community. And brand yourself as the expert in that, and be available, be really open. That's one of the things that I think people have always said why they follow me, and they are so loyal. I mean, I have people in my group that have been there, and they comment on almost everything that I ever post, because I'm unapologetically myself the whole time. There's no point going on there and trying to pretend to be something that you're not, because that's exhausting to keep up. But definitely get a Facebook community, you know, automate if you're going to struggle with time, you know, record things, make sure that you've got things going in there, but just go in there and ask questions, just go in there and comment, encourage other people to ask questions, but dedicate the time to it. Have a strategy. One of the best tips that I was ever told was by Jodie and Roxy from Ladies Lifeland, where they said, the minute you want to go in and you want to ask a question, or you want to get something from your Facebook group that needs a lot of people to see it, go in there the week before and ask, and put like a silly quiz up, like, what type of crisp are you, or something, you know, something that, because people, you think why would anyone want to go on and do one of those quizzes on a makeup group? But you do. I go on there and I'm like, what lipstick did you wear in the 90s? And everyone's like, Heather Shimmer. Oh my God.
Oh, I love Heather Shimmer.
Right, exactly. It's like, it's one of the most engaging conversations I have with people. Like for me in the 90s, and then be like, do you remember when we used to wear white eyeshadow? And everyone's like, yes. Get that engagement going, and then the next day put your important post in and everyone will see it.
Yeah.
Don't ever go in there with something you need somebody to see like dry. Do you know what I mean? Like go in there and kind of like warm the audience up a little bit. And that was, I've never even thought of that, but it's one of my favorite things to do, honestly. Getting 90s makeup gets everyone talking, so there's going to be an equivalent for everyone's industry.
I literally did a live last week in my group showing insights, and one of the posts, and I was going down showing the analytics of like the Facebook, and I'm always saying to people, put in there, you know, what's your favorite drink, Coke or Pepsi, something like that, and people always say it's not relevant, and I say I know, but the idea is that once they've seen that post and they've engaged, you will get, you know, engagement on the actual post you need them to see. And it takes people ages to get their head around it because they don't want to come across unprofessional or foolish or silly or whatever. But one of the most popular things we've had recently is it was about Sunday dinner, and honestly, I can't remember the amount now, but it was something stupid like 1,300 and whatever engagement, which is great for a Facebook page. And the amount of engagements we had, people I'd never even heard of, was commented on this post. I mean, I can't take credit for it. Leonie, one of my staff members, did it. But do you know what? And then the other one, a really popular one, is scones. I mean, at least you kept it relevant to the industry, but you know, jam or cream first. It's crazy. It gets the engagement.
I've got one in my drafts for when I need to do something, and it's going to be Body Shop, White Musk or Dewberry.
Oh, Dewberry all the way.
White Musk, you know, because it's there, because I know that people will be like, even the most sensible people who, you know, they can't resist. They're like, why is she asking about this? White Musk, you know.
100%, and we're all going to tick it, aren't we? I think I did see your Heather Shimmer one the other day, because I definitely commented on some, or you know, ticked it on somebody's, and I'm sure it was yours, because I thought, oh yeah, coffee shimmer was all right, but it's not really my colour. I'm much more of a Heather Shimmer.
My best friend wore coffee shimmer, and I wore Heather Shimmer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. That's brilliant. So it just shows, yes, it's all about creating engagement. So this is a really good topic today, actually, because this is something I've been really focusing on at the minute. And not to, well, I'm going to digress as always, but you know, I am doing a bit of a social media challenge in my group at the moment, and it's about just trying to get people to put that content out there, because I think I'm not saying we shouldn't think too hard about it, but we think so much about it and almost overcomplicate it to the point where we do nothing, and something is better than nothing, isn't it? So at least you're getting that, you know, engagement, getting yourself out there. So
don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to be perfect, because unless your market, your audience is completely perfect, no one's going to relate to you. Like, one of the things, and when I was actually creating my website, and Roxy sat down with me, who did it, and she said, you know, we're going to have a few bullet points at the beginning, like about yourself. And one of the things that I wrote on it was, I think it was something like massively socially awkward. Like,
I have actually written that down, and I wanted to talk to you about that.
Warrior. I can't remember what but socially awkward, because people can relate to it when I go on and I'm like talking away. I've got like a bagel seed in my teeth. I did one the other day. I sat down to do a live, and I've got had my t-shirt on back to front, and you know when it's going, you're going live in 3, and I was like, oh, and I quickly turn it round, and I think I was just kind of like skimming around, and the thumbnail that it picked was obviously me, like, oh, but I thought, well, shall I edit it? No, why? Because it is so me. And it would be exhausting for me to try to pretend that I wasn't a doofus, because I am in that mode most of the time, but it's why people can relate.
I agree. It is brilliant. I just think, like you say, just be who you are. You know what? I'm the same. I always say, like, I don't know whether bumbling mess is the right word, but I'm always a little bit like, well, I did a live yesterday, and there's only me that would do a live on the hottest day ever, and literally my fringe was stuck to my head, and I'm going, I was so sweaty, and I thought, well, I can't stop now, I've already started. And I thought I was, And do you know what? I just like, well, you all know me by now. I can't change,
Exactly.
you know. But
Everybody else
hey,
is suffering at the same time.
exactly. So, you know, at least I didn't come on all pristine, because I don't think anyone would have believed that yesterday. So, but yeah, no, like you said, be authentic, and I think that is one of the best pieces of advice. I think, isn't it? Just you are who you are. Don't try and be, because that's what, especially in a salon, people come based on you. Like I always say to my staff, it's only 20% of what, you know, why they come back is the treatment. The rest of it is all about you and how you made them feel. So, you know, that's why they're coming at the end of the day. So. So now we've got the socially awkward one, because I did just look at that. It did make me giggle. And the fact that you're not an ironing fan, I thought me and you were like kindred spirits. Neither am I. I iron as I go if I have to, and that's if I, you know, if I think, oh dear Louise, that's terrible. Well, I don't really buy clothes. I probably look more at Andy and go, you cannot go out in that.
No. I married an ex-military man. When he first moved in with me, before we got engaged, and I was trying to get him to propose, I ironed all his shirts. And then when I looked at him the next day, I noticed a really crisp line, and I thought, I've done a cracking job there. But he'd taken them all out and re-ironed them, and he didn't want to tell me. And from that day on, I have never ironed. And my mum
sounds like you've married your soulmate.
She sees me, she's like, Katy, I'm like, my body heat will push the things out. It doesn't matter. Honestly, bigger picture for me.
Exactly. And I always say, well, once it's on you, you can't see it anyway, can you? Because everybody else is looking at you. You're not really looking at it anymore. So
absolutely. And I drive so much for my work. If I iron and then I sit in my car, it's going to crease up again.
Oh, and that's just frustrating, isn't it? What a waste of time. And you know,
right? Time
is precious, so why waste it?
Why waste it?
Oh, brilliant. And my other kindred spirit that whatever I just said, that I could relate to you with was your reverse parking. I love a bit of reverse parking, and I just thought it was great how it was on your website.
Yeah, very good at it. I used to be really into cars, and I hate being told that I can't do anything. But then I'm also terrible to teach. Like I can't be told. I couldn't be an employee anymore. I have to absolutely work for myself, because yeah, and I couldn't go back to school. I couldn't go back and learn anything now because I just can't be told. But I remember once someone saying something about women reverse parking, and I thought, oh, you pig, I'll show you. And I still love it now when the dads and I go in and I do that. Don't even look behind me. I just look in my mirrors. And the dads are like, that's good. And I'm like, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Shut up.
I'm the same, and it is. You get out of the car, don't you? Feeling really proud. Go, yeah, no, everyone's. Are you trying like not to look around as if like you know how good you are? It's like, don't look at me. I know I'm good.
It's the feminist in me. I'm like, why would you think that I couldn't reverse park? That it's just I drive myself mad once I get a bit between my teeth. I can't let it go. But that's why I'm successful. Honestly, that's why my business is still surviving. That's why my business has survived 2 children, because I'm so stubborn. And years and years and years ago at school, when I had my careers counselling in the library in the mid-90s, and I said, I want to be a makeup artist. And the woman said, nobody ever makes a living off of a creative industry. And I was like, right, bit between my teeth. 20-something, 30-something years later, I'm still talking about it because it clearly still bothered me. But it's just this absolute determination to never fail, that I really think is why I am where I am.
I agree, yeah, absolutely. It's not a bad trait, is it? Not a bad trait at all. And I think that's probably a really good thing to leave our listeners with. I mean, I don't know if you've got anything else to tell us, but I think that's a really good piece of advice to say, like, you know, be stubborn, don't let anyone tell you no. But yeah. So what would you say?
Find your passion, throw everything that you can at it. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Like balance, obviously balance. I'm not saying like ignore your children, even though I often ignore mine, but just if you're good at something and it lights you up, give it everything you've got. Don't let anyone discourage you. Find a way. Literally, I call it blinkers on, like with a racehorse. Blinkers on. Invest in yourself. delegate. I don't try and do anything that I can't do, which is why that profit first thing didn't work for me. I will wait until I am in a financial position where I can get somebody to do that for me, because it's not my strength.
Yeah.
Get somebody to build that website for you. If you need to get a VA, find a way to be in your zone of genius. This is an amazing industry that we are in, no matter how much people in government poo-poo it. And I remember them standing up and laughing about how apparently hairdressers want to open, and you know, we are an essential part of life. We are passionate about what we do. We're almost always amazing people, and we're needed. We are needed, and what we do is as important as anything that needs maths and needs books. Don't let anyone dissuade you. Don't let anyone make you feel like you've not made the right choice by going into something beauty related, because we are just as valuable. That's my piece of advice.
I love it. I love it. I totally agree. I think, you know, often our industry is so devalued, and you know, very obviously those people have no clue, without being rude, but yeah, I'm sure our customers all say different, because they have been dying for us to open, and obviously now we can, or don't want to speak negatively, so hopefully it will stay that way. But so one thing then that I did see on your website as well, which just made me chuckle, because I'm a big biscuit fan. I saw you're very opinionated on biscuits, so what is your favourite biscuit, or what is your opinion on these biscuits? And then I will let you go.
My favourite biscuit. So, okay. I love so many biscuits. You can't be a plain digestive, but a McVitie's digestive, not an Aldi digestive. I don't actually like a chocolate digestive. Don't put dark chocolate on a digestive. But Home Bargains did actually release the Biscoffee sandwich biscuits. You know, I call them hairdresser biscuits because you always get the little Lotus Biscoffee, but they're circular with something with Biscoffee cream in the middle. Beautiful.
Wow.
That, if I had to die on a hill, I would die on the Biscoffee biscuit from Poundland or somewhere like that. Beautiful.
Sounds good.
What a nugget to end this on.
Perfect. I'm with you. I probably couldn't pick, but you know, I am partial to a good old ginger nut with a cup of tea.
No, that's what I kept being told to eat those in my pregnancy, ginger nuts. I think they're a waste of a biscuit, personally.
Really? Oh, yeah. They're great. I do like them. Cup of tea, or even with milk. I'm not going to go into some of my like crazy habits, because my husband says I'm the most disgusting person ever. But that might be a conversation for another day.
But we could share a biscuit selection box, because we probably wouldn't steal the same biscuits. There we go. See, this is why we're friends.
Perfect. Exactly. Perfect. The perfect combo. And we can both reverse park. Awesome. So, thank you so much for coming on, Katy. It is brilliant. And do you know what? I'm leaving this feeling inspired. So I hope so many of the listeners are feeling inspired as well after speaking to you. And I know how many people will be able to relate to a lot of the things that you have spoken about. And hopefully you have inspired them to think that they can, you know, maybe transition their business and multiple streams of income as well. So, and lots of places that we can go in this industry. We're not restricted, and that is what one of the best things about this industry is. There are so many avenues that we can go down. So thank you so much. It has been brilliant.